Hi, Anis from Never Stop Trucking here. Welcome to another video about your questions and answers that I try to provide to you. So you guys are very great with those questions. They keep coming, and then that gives me new material to record these videos. So let's start with the first question. What brokers do you recommend for power-only loads flexible with trailer return? If you want to do power-only loads and keep switching the trailers, that's different than say grab a trailer and leave it someplace else and then uh, do another load like that for someone else. So you have a few different options. If you go to that board or truck stop, whatever you're using for your load board, you can choose for power only options instead of V. They usually have a P, PW, or VP, something in that nature. So if you choose a power only load, you can look for loads like that. JB Hunt and Schneider, I know they have these drop and hook power loads. So when you pick up their trailer at their yard, then you would deliver it to another yard or maybe deliver it directly to a customer. And then once you are empty, then they will find you another trailer, a preloaded trailer someplace nearby. It could be in their yard or at a different company. And then you could go there and drop your trailer and pick up another trailer. So you would only do trailers for them. Um, I did this myself. I did this for about 2 months, and it was Schneider, and I didn't like it because usually these trailers are not in great shape. People, drivers will just hook them up and not report any damage to the trailer, or if the brakes are bad, if the tires are bad. Sometimes some people will drive with flat tires just to get rid of the trailer and get a new one. So when you go pick up this trailer, then there's a possibility that this trailer is not in good working order. Sometimes they have brake pads stuck to the drums, and especially in winter, if they've been sitting for too long, then they will freeze. And there's a lot of problems with these trailers. And I only did it for 2 months, and then I said, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. If you have a broker or a carrier that have they take good care of their trailers, that's different. But just keep this in mind, what I just told you. And there are also people who do this like with containers, like shipping containers that they put on ships or trains, and then they have these chassis, and they would go to a roll yard or a port, and then they would just put these containers onto the chassis, and then you will hook it up to the truck. But then that's another story for itself. Also, you can look for power only loads where you pick up a trailer to bring someplace. It could be even an empty trailer, or it could be a loaded trailer. So you look it up on a load board. Like I said, just choose the option for power only, and you would deliver it to someplace, and you would just leave the trailer there. But then you have to look for another load like this nearby, and then keep doing that. So that's another way you can do it. Sometimes, like if you pick up an empty trailer that you're supposed to bring somewhere, they will pay you for that. But then also you have an option to put a loan on that trailer, so you're making double the money. So there are a lot of options for that, and this is definitely something that you should investigate a lot before you start doing this. How does claiming broker's insurance work? What I think he is asking, if the broker is not paying, can you make a claim against the insurance? The answer, is no, not through regular insurance. You can put a claim against their bond. That's a form of insurance, not real insurance. It's called a bond, but yes, you can do that. But then expect that it's not gonna go smooth, and they may not even pay you, or they may pay you just a portion of the load, especially if this is a broker that owes a lot of people money, and or even if they're going out of business. So that it's gonna be a hassle if you do that. So you have to look in the packet that they sent you. You can look up their bond information on load boards. Sometimes they you can access it. They have like that board usually has all the information for all the brokers. You can go to their website, call them up, see who their bond provider is, and you would do that. But it's gonna be hard to get that money, just so you know. How much money do you need to start a dispatching business? You don't need a lot of money, especially having in mind that nowadays most people have a internet and a computer and a desk. That then I'm not counting that money towards this. Maybe if you don't have a printer, you can get a printer, a phone. Most people have phones, or if you want to have a dedicated line for a business, that's different. But I'm just saying to everyone, if you have a computer already and internet, you probably don't need more than $500 to start. Forming a company, getting some paperwork, getting access to a load board. So $500 would be enough. Unless you don't have a computer, desk, printer, phone, then you would add that into this amount. For independent dispatch, which is better, PayPal or tracking office for invoicing? Also, can you make a video on how to use tracking office? I made that video already, and I hope to release it soon. I have a few videos already made, and I just want to put them into the schedule. I can't release them all at the same time. But PayPal is okay for invoicing, but the only thing with PayPal is that you don't have a good look into your load history as opposed to using a TMS software. And it doesn't have to be tracking office. I'm not affiliated with them. They're not paying me or anything to say that. I'm only mentioning tracking office because I've been using it for many years, and I use it now. For me, it's simple. I don't need anything advanced. Bigger companies, they have more advanced dispatching softwares, but I use tracking office. So if you ask me whether you should go with PayPal or any TMS software, I would say go with the TMS software because you can input all your loads into there, like in tracking office, put all the loads into the software, assign the loads to a driver, a broker, and then you can produce an invoice using that, and then it goes in order. Like if you start with 1 or 100 or 1,000, and then those invoices and trip numbers go in order, and you can always easily look up loads in tracking office that you did, the prices, invoices, and then as you put in the loads, it calculates your mileage, your averages, your profit. There are a lot of things there. You can make a driver settlement, to pay them, and it will put all those loads in, and it has the year to date. It's a professionally looking settlement or a pay stub, if you want to call it that way. So I would recommend that over PayPal. And even like with PayPal, you can send an invoice through them directly to the carrier or to your contractor, whoever you work with. Yeah, that is true. And then they can click on that invoice and then just pay whatever they owe you right through PayPal. And that's a convenience. In a tracking office, you can send them invoice the same way through their software. You just put in their email address and then you click send, and it will send them. You don't have to save that invoice in PDF format or print it out and then send it. You can also send it through trucking office. But the thing is, they cannot pay. They get an invoice, but then they still have to pay you using a check or ACH or go to PayPal. They cannot click on the invoice and make a payment to you. That's the only thing. But all these other things outweigh the good things about trucking office outweigh this one feature with PayPal that they have. Can you define what a blind load is a little more? I will include this into, I'm working on the series with trucking phrases and terms and definitions, but I can just say real quick, blind load is where the broker will not tell the shipper or receiver or both where the load is coming from or where is it going to. For example, you have a driver that's picking up a load from Chicago to Denver, Colorado. And you send your driver to pick up the load in Chicago, but then the shipper might not know where the load is going. They think this load is going to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, okay? And then your driver would have to play along, maybe say, hey, this load is going, I'm picking up load to Harrisburg, or they just give them a pickup number. They don't say anything. And they load the load with the paperwork, with bill of lading that shows Harrisburg as the final destination. But your driver, picks up the load, gets that bill of lading, and then actually delivers into Denver, Colorado, to the address that the broker gave you. Broker usually will send you a different bill of lading that you would forward to your driver. They would have to print it out somewhere, usually at a truck stop. So you fax it over to the truck stop, they print it out, and now they have a bill of lading that shows Denver, Colorado as the final destination. And then when they go to Denver, they only give them that bill of lading for Denver that the broker gave them. They keep the one that the shipper gave them that was going to Harrisburg in the truck. And then when they're done, they take all the paperwork, the first bill of lading to Harrisburg, the second one to Denver, and then they send it to their company or the broker. When they make an invoice, then they send both. Sometimes it's the other way, like the receiver doesn't know where it's coming from. But to me, this is all games, and this happens a lot with freight that is kind of like raw freight, like chemicals, plastic, something that they use to produce other things using that, okay? And usually the prices from one place are much more expensive, and these people are just essentially playing games, showing someone that this load came from far, far away, but it actually comes from another place. They can maybe charge them more money. Or also a receiver will not work with certain place, but then the broker makes it look as the material came from someone else. So it's a big lie, okay? It's and then you have to lie for them. The driver has to lie for them, and they make you be a part of this game that you don't want to be a part of. You're playing games, and then someone is either making good money off of this or cheating, and usually when they tell me it's a blind load, I don't want that load. Sometimes they, like when you book a load, and they may say, oh, by the way, this is a blind load. Or when they send you the rate confirmation, you go pick up the load, and then once you pick up, then say, hey, by the way, here's a bill of lading for the driver. that they're gonna show at the receiver instead of the original one. And then they didn't tell you, they played you. They didn't tell you it was a blind load, but then you have no choice now. Now you have to be part of that game. And that's really unfortunate that they work in this way. So they don't, sometimes they don't say it's a blind load because they know that some carriers will not do this. And not just because of this, it's a hassle. Usually these loads you have to scale empty weight and heavy, go to scale houses a few times. It's a hassle for the driver, and that usually means it's a heavy load. It also means that the yard might be like a scrap yard, with a lot of trash, a lot of things on the ground where drivers can damage their tires. It means a lot of bad things. So when I hear blind load, then then I say, okay, no, I just don't want to do this unless there's really nothing else, and you have no choice. But that's what the blind load is. Which is the best factoring company? And then she said they 1%. I don't know if this means like who charges 1%, but what's the best factoring company? I used 3 factoring company so far, 2 in my own company, and then 1 when I was a dispatcher for another company. So I used RTS, I used Fleet One Factoring, they also call WEX Fleet One Factoring, and then I used another one out of Chicago, Capital something. There are hundreds of factoring company. None of them will give you 1% when you first start. It might be 3%, maybe a little bit less, but as the time goes, and then as you have more volume, more invoices, more trucks, then like when they renew the contract, then you can negotiate at a better rate. Or maybe even if you have a formed company now and you have a lot of volume, then you can probably get a better percentage. About 1%. There are not a lot of companies who have 1%. I know a couple that have 1%, but it will take probably time to get to that point. Now, as you can see, RTS, you have RTS information in the description of video. You can contact them, and then I have two friends that work there, and we are trying to do something together. But the Capital something that I was a Capital Depot, I think they were okay too. They were not bad. But RTS is more established. It's an older company. It's been in business for a long time. As you know, I don't want to trash anyone in my videos, talk bad about anyone. But with WEX Fleet One, you can just go and read reviews by yourself. And I did not have a good experience with them. That's all I can say. Can we open up and run successfully a company only for dispatching without own trucks, just providing dispatch services for other trucking companies or owner operators? Yes, of course. A lot of my videos talk about that specifically. And there are a lot of people who do it. It's hard to start. I know it's really hard to find companies that you're going to dispatch, but you just have to be consistent and not give up. So that's the hardest part, in my opinion. And then I hear that a lot, that most people are struggling with finding carriers that they can dispatch and work with. But it's what it is, no job is easy, and anything you do, there are things that are hard, there are things that are easy, but you can make it. And I am making few videos about that too, about how to find owner operators. Stick around for that.